Hello. Today I'm going to talk about some movies. I'm going to talk about some movies that I watched over the weekend. I want to start doing reviews soon, but before that I want to sort of practice just by sitting in front of my camera and talking briefly about movies that I've seen. So I'm going to talk about movies that I watched on the weekend. I watched a few movies, and I want to talk about them. So the first movie I want to talk about is Caligula. The infamous Caligula. Caligula is a film about the third Roman emperor, Caius Caligula Caesar. He is a pretty crazy guy, really, if you think about it. He does a lot of fucking and killing. That's actually what the majority of the movie is fucking and killing. Caligula stars Malcolm McDowell as Caligula, as well Peter O'Toole, Helen Mirren, and John Gielgud, just to name a few. And basically, Caligula becomes emperor after the death of his grandfather Tiberius. If you know your Roman history, you should already sort of know this stuff, actually. And Caligula is, as leader, he's sort of he seems all right, but he's a bit tyrannical. He's kind of crazy. And he does his sister, and he does a horse, and yeah, there's a lot of depraved stuff going on here. It's, if you've ever seen A Clockwork Orange, which is like the film Malcolm McDowell is probably best known for, the stuff he does there is tame compared to Caligula. And a lot of people hate Caligula. A lot of people really hated Caligula. There's a lot of negativity about Caligula. Roger Ebert gave it 0 stars, and while I don't necessarily agree with Ebert all that often, I especially disagree with him here. I thought Caligula was fantastic. I know that it wasn't historically accurate, and that I guess I don't know. I don't know why I enjoyed it. I just did. Maybe it was all the fucking and killing. Well, not so much the killing, but the fucking, because, come on, everyone loves fucking. Except for asexuals. Even they love fucking. But yeah. I guess, really, that's what the movie has going for it. Lots and lots of fucking. Lesbians, dudes, everything. It's pretty groovy. And I wish it was a more accurate interpretation of Rome, because I was going to build a time machine after watching that movie. But now it kind of seems redundant, because if I tried to do that stuff in Rome, it wouldn't go down quite as easily as I'd like it to. So overall, I'd recommend Caligula. However, I gotta sort of say on that, I'd recommend it if you're like me. And if you watch my videos, then you probably are like me, because the only way to possibly enjoy my videos is to be like me. So, yeah. Yeah, if you're like me, then you'll like Caligula. And if you don't, well then you're not like me, because anyone like me would like Caligula. So yeah, Caligula gets my positivity, my blessing, I guess. Yeah, it's all good. It's a fantastic movie, even if it's not necessarily correct in all aspects.
Uncle!
Alright, so now, let's move on to the next weekend watching. We're going into a trilogy here, the Evil Dead trilogy, which I'd been meaning to get around to watching for a long time, and finally I did it. And I was not disappointed. Not disappointed in the least. I'll talk about the 3 films individually, starting with the first one, of course. Evil Dead is hilarious, and at the same time it's scary. Bruce Campbell is wonderful. And so are the other actors, I thought. I like that there's such a small cast, and that we get to sort of meet these characters in a way that we don't necessarily see in a lot of other movies with bigger casts. I mean, there isn't major character development compared to a lot of stories, but it's good, and I think it's enjoyable. Again, Bruce Campbell, he's what makes the movie. I mean, whether you admit it or not. That and the whole like tree fucking scene where that girl got fucked by a tree. Alright, so Evil Dead is fantastic. Quick plot outline. The 5 friends go to a cabin where they come across the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, the Book of the Dead, and they happen to play a tape recording of the chant that raises these demons, and so they have to fight the demons. It's a great movie. I love it. Evil Dead 2 is almost kind of the same. A lot of people say that Evil Dead 2 is like as much a sequel as it is a remake, and I definitely see that. It's the same basic idea of the first Evil Dead movie, although with some major differences. Like, for example, Ashley, which is Bruce Campbell's character, Ash, whatever you want to... Ash goes to the cabin with just one person this time. It's a girl, Linda, I think her name was, and later on the daughter of the professor from the first movie comes in with some others, and it creates some interesting plot points. Evil Dead 2 is better than the first one. Sort of a rare sequel being better than the original. But then, to get even more rare, the sequel to the sequel was the best of them all. And this is opinionated, of course. I mean, obviously there's going to be people that disagree. But Army of Darkness was my favorite Evil Dead movie. I loved Army of Darkness. Army of Darkness kicked a lot of ass. There were so many memorable lines and...
Yeah. All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. See this? This is my boomstick. The 12-gauge double-barreled Remington. S-Mart's top of the line. You can find...
Groovy.
Scenes that were just hilarious. I mean, the whole idea of Ash not saying the words and completely fucking over these people. I don't know, I just thought it was funny. But, and again, like with all the Evil Dead movies, they're funny, but they're serious at the same time. Like, there's a sort of serious plot, but they come across it in a humorous manner, and I like things like that, like Roots. Roots, the famous Macy's. I'm not going to review Roots here, obviously. I'm going to save that for I don't know when. Actually, I just remember this is African History Month, whatever you want to call it. I think I should do that sometime this month. And I think I will, but that's not for now. I'm just drawing a parallel here. Roots is like very serious, but very funny too. And I see that with Evil Dead. And while obviously Roots is about slavery and Evil Dead is about fighting demons, so it's just the whole idea of having the seriousness and humor at the same time. I really enjoy that. It's like with my offensive humor. I do it because of serious issues, making light of them, to bring awareness in a way that's fun, but at the same time depressing. It's a nice conflict of emotions that I feel is necessary. So overall, I loved Evil Dead, all 3 of them. Check them out if you haven't already. It's crucial. They're fantastic movies, all 3 of them. Alright, so we're coming up to the last movie that I want to talk about, which is quite different from the other 2, in that it's sort of it's an actual movie to be taken very seriously, and it's much older than the others. It came out in 1959, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. I speak of North by Northwest, which is about a man named Roger Thornhill, who is mistaken for a man named George Kaplan, and he is like force-fed alcohol and caught driving under the influence, and they don't believe that he was attacked, and like when he tells the story they don't believe him. And then he goes looking for his attempted assailant, who turns out to be a member of the UN, but when he gets there it turns out that it's not even the same person, that it's someone impersonating him, in that the actual man hadn't even been in his house for like months, and so one of the villain's assistants assassinates him, and Thornhill is blamed, and so he goes on the run, and it's another wonderful movie. Like all the movies I've talked about here, it's another good one. And trust me, I'm gonna speak about bad movies very soon. When I do full reviews, I'm gonna try to focus a lot on bad movies. But here, I just want to talk about the good stuff. So, North by Northwest. This movie is very famous. There are a lot of very notable scenes in this movie. And the biggest one, which I'm sure as soon as you hear the title, the first thing you think about is crop dusters. Why? Well, do I even need to explain it? That scene is so fucking... Everyone knows that scene. It's been parodied so many times. I've seen it in Family Guy. I've seen it all over the place. It's such a notable scene. Another one is like when they're on when they're on Mount Rushmore at the end. That's another one that's just such a notable scene. The whole movie, it's full of all these notable things. And that's just something of Hitchcock, because every Hitchcock movie is notable in some way. So, yeah, of all of the movies I've reviewed today, North by Northwest was my favorite. It stars Cary Grant and James Mason, and here's just something really funny, just sort of, if we go back to where I talked about Caligula and I mentioned John Gielgud, and now we're talking about James Mason, and the first time I'd ever heard of either of these actors was when I watched Julius Caesar. And after watching that, I have seen these actors in just sort of here, there, and everywhere. I can't watch anything without hearing either James Mason or John Gielgud, in the credits or whatever. And I just find that weird because I'd never heard of them before. So, but yeah, Cary Grant plays Thornhill. James Mason is Van Damme, the villain. And Eva Marie Saint plays the girl that Thornhill meets on the train. I'm trying to remember her name. It was Eva something, I think. I'm certain it was. Eva, it started with a K. I can't recall her name, but yeah, it was something with a K, and it was just a very good movie, with very notable scenes. It's overall fantastic. Like with everything else, check it out. So that concludes my sort of ramblings about movies. Be on the lookout for my first big review real soon. Honestly, I haven't decided yet what it'll be on. I had an idea, but the movie I wanted to review was just so bad that it was difficult for me to really figure out how to articulate just how bad it was and how to put it into a review. And I just want to do a simple movie where I can... So, be on the lookout for that whenever. In fact, feel free to leave suggestions. If you know some really shitty movies, feel free to suggest anything. I'm open to anything. And of course, any other comments are always appreciated, even the negative ones. So, yeah. That's all I've got to say. Have a nice day. Check out all the films I spoke about. Again, strong warnings about Caligula. That's a very pornographic film. I don't think it's I guess it is, but it isn't a porno. Well, I guess it is because there's a lot of explicit sex in it. But it's not a porno in the same way that those movies with Pizza Guys or whatever. It's not one of those pornos. It's got an actual story to it. Kind of. Check it out. I can't fucking explain it. Just check it out. Bye.